This is a good graphic illustration of the different forms. Somebody mentioned about church government. There are different kinds of governments that are ordained by God. We have self-government. We have family government. We have church government. And we have civil government. All of these have been ordained by God. People talk about the separation of church and state. As far as I'm concerned, the only separation of church and state is this corner here. It's where those two come together. Because church has its own authority, state has its own authority, but one shouldn't be blending into the other. The church should not be, for instance, we shouldn't be holding religious tests in order to hold office. There was a time in this nation when they did. Even at the time when Thomas Jefferson wrote that famous line about separation of church and state, there were many states that you had to actually take an oath to be obedient to the church of that state. That was small s as opposed to large s, in order to hold office. But these things should all be separate. The family generally has always had the responsibility of caring for the family. If someone gets sick, if someone doesn't have a job, who should you turn to in order to get the help you need? You should either turn to the family or turn to the church. Whereas if you need a road paved, you generally would turn to the local community. So all of these things had their own separate divisions, but they had one umbrella over all of them. God. God ruled over all of them. So there is no separation of church and state. There is no removing God from the equation. God is everywhere in every one of those equations.